Welcome back to Car Wash College Online. I'm here with Scott Utley, Head of Technical Services at Hydra-Flex up in Minnesota. Scott, welcome to Car Wash College.
Thanks, Bob.
All right, so I got my AquaLab here. If I'm walking into my back room first thing in the morning, what am I looking at first to make sure that we're going to be all right for the day?
First thing you want to do is you want to look for any visible leaks, any damage to your equipment, whether it's the pumps or the panels. Make sure your inlet hose, your ball valve's open, you got water going to your manifold, you got your air line open up here for your air actuated valves.
Okay, and our air pressure should be set where?
Anywhere from 80 to 120, we recommend 100 PSI.
Okay, and then on our water pressure side,
that should be regular, 200 pounds, yep.
All right, so we got that verified, the water and air lines are open, we got the proper pressures. We're going to run it, I guess, first to verify the dispensing equipment's operating correctly. And then, so that's our daily checks. On a weekly check, what are we looking for?
On a weekly check, we recommend for checking your primary air regulator, your separator here, making sure just visual check to make sure there's no water in there.
Okay.
If there is, all you have to do is just slowly undo the bottom and it'll drain out the bottom of the panel. You want to check that weekly at a minimum.
Okay, so there's no air to oil or anything, just in the FRL.
Nope.
This we're just catching
Yep.
moisture in there.
Yep.
Okay. All right, inspect and clean the Y strainer pump and inline banjo filter. Where would we find that?
On the Y strainer filters on our old wall-mounted Flint and Walling pumps.
Okay.
It's a brass fitting on the outlet of the pump, and our inline banjo filters are actually a filter on the inlet side of the new Grundfos integrated pumps that we use.
All right, cool. So monthly, inspect the water supply filter and replace as needed. Is that one we have on this pump as well, or no?
Nope.
Okay.
They were used on the old 20 GPM Flint and Wallings. It was what we call our Big Blue. It was an inline filter before it went into the pump. Just a replacement filter cartridge. Visually inspect it. Needs to be changed, change it.
So there's probably quite a few of those still in the field.
Absolutely.
Okay. Inspect the spray nozzles and foam generators, clean and repair as needed. So that's actually out in the bay,
Yep.
right? So how often should we be cleaning our foam generators to keep them effective?
I'd say at least once a month.
Once a month?
Yeah.
And then the newer style that we're using today, where we're not gluing the PVC and everything else, a whole lot easier to clean than the old style, right?
Absolutely.
The
Yep.
kind that Mr. Foamer makes?
Yep.
All right, semi-annually, check, clean, or replace injector metering tips or versatile filters. Walk me through that if you would.
Yep. On this one, the metering tips are here.
Okay.
So you want to pull off the hose and unscrew the tip. Make sure that there's no debris or anything inside there causing any restrictions or non-flow of chemical. And then on the dials here, on the inlet side of the dial, there is a removable filter.
Okay.
You want to check, you can check those. Customers that I've dealt with have blown them out, rinsed them out. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. We recommend having we sell it in a 5-pack. We recommend having those on hand. It's basically a throwaway filter. Throw it away, put a new one on, put your suction line back on, and you're good to go.
Okay. Now, you said on the older style, we're just going to pull that line off.
Yep.
This is why we're wearing safety glasses, I would imagine, right?
Absolutely.
In case
Absolutely.
it comes off a little tough and we might get a little chemical in the face.
Yep.
All right, ensure lines are tightly secured to hose barbs, repair or replace as needed. So how hard do we got to pull to make sure everything's secure?
They should slide off relatively easy, but I mean, you want to look for any visual defects in the tubing itself. Over time, you might have, they might start to harden depending on the product, might crack, things like that. So you just kind of want to pull them off, and if they slide off really easy, best thing to do is go down about an inch or two, cut the tube, and put it right back on. Make sure it's a little snug.
Okay. On an annual basis, inspect all air actuated valves for any damage and lubricate as needed. What are we looking at there?
That's typically what we're referring to as our BAMs or our MAMs.
Okay.
On a monthly basis, on a semi-annual basis, you want to take these apart. Inside there's a spring and then a piston with some O-rings. A lot of times we'll just unscrew the cap here, pop them out, inspect everything, lube them up, make sure they're all lubed.
What are we lubing them with?
We recommend Sil Glide, which is more of You can find it at auto parts stores.
Okay.
Mechanics used them for like brake calipers and things like that.
All right. Now, what's the difference between a BAM and a MAM?
Our MAM is our standard valve. Flow rate of a 6 GPM max on that. And our BAM is for our high flow applications. You can get up to 15 GPM on those.
Okay, so we're looking at these for like our fusion baths, our real dramatic soap drops.
Yep.
And these we're looking at what, CTAs and
Standard applications.
triple foamers,
Yep.
et cetera.
Yep.
All right. Inspect all supply lines and solution lines for damage and replace as needed. Is this something we should just do on an annual basis anyway, do you think?
I would, but I mean, if you see something, obviously, when you're doing your inspections during the day, if you see a broken line, obviously you want to take care of that before you start. But at least the inlet lines here on our inlet hoses, making sure those are good, and then the hoses on this outlet of the solutions there, making sure they're not kinked or broken or anything like that.
Do we see a lot more wear in the hosing and the tubing in extreme climates than we do in let's say, a moderate climate?
Yeah, definitely. Temperature plays a factor.
Okay, so like you guys are in Minnesota, I imagine with the freezing and the thawing and everything else, these things will wear rather quickly.
Yep.
We're in our Arizona facility today, the extreme heat out here. I would imagine that would play a part as well.
Yep, definitely.
Okay. All right, so that's it on the maintenance, right?
Yep.
We got our dailies, our weeklies, our monthlies, semi-annuals, and annuals.
Yep.
Is there anything else you can tell us about the panel that we need to keep after?
Just kind of keep an eye on it and do your best. And if you have any problems, let us know.
All right. Thanks for joining me today, Scott.
Yeah.
If you want to get the best value for your dollar out of your Hydra-Flex unit, go through the maintenance that Scott just pointed out to you. Be running for you for many happy years. That's the proper way to maintain your Hydra-Flex unit. If you have any technical questions, feel free to call Scott up there at Hydra-Flex. And if not, as always, good luck and good washing.